to the Positively Altered podcast. I am Dr. Cindy Howard, your host, and I am a chiropractic internist and nutritionist, and very excited to tell you the author of a book called Positively Altered, Finding Happiness at the Bottom of a Chemo Bag. Today, I am super excited, as I always am, right? I don't think there's been a podcast where I'm not excited, but this one is especially fun for me because my guest today helped me record the audio version of my book. And I was terrified and thought I couldn't do it. And he made it so that it was easy and fun. On top of it, we're going to talk about some of the challenges he has because while he's got an amazing career and some really exciting things happening that we're going to share with you today, there's always sometimes challenges that we have to overcome. So stay tuned. We're going to take a quick listen to some very important sponsors. It'll be fast, I promise. And then we're going to come back and I'm going to introduce you to one of my favorite guests.
Hello, my name is Heather Lord, and I am the COO of Professional Health Products. Cutting corners is an all too common practice in the dietary supplement industry. When my father founded Professional Health Products, he sourced the cleanest, most biologically active ingredients from around the globe. Today, that commitment remains, which is why the finest healthcare practitioners, like Dr. Cindy, have trusted us for more than 40 years. We oversee the entire process in our manufacturing facility, from sourcing and formulation to manufacturing and labeling. Today, we offer over 300 unique products that can be tailored to the nutritional and homeopathic needs of each individual. Most recently, we launched a proprietary genetic test, allowing our practitioners to get even more dialed in to their patients' health. To learn more about Professional Health Products, please talk to your practitioner or visit our website at phpltd.com.
Today, your life is going to be altered. I'm Dr. Cindy.
Welcome to Infinity. We have worked hard to create an electronic claims website that is simple and user-friendly. This is the public side. You can log into your personal web portal here. This is your dashboard. You can personalize it to your liking here. Our main focus has been to allow you to submit and edit claims as easy as possible. You will find our claims editor and claims processing is simple to use and straightforward. Our quick action bar is where you can find your most important information. Most of these icons will take you directly to the claims the number represents. You can easily view if you have any messages in your inbox of any unread alerts by looking for these blue numbers. To view the rest of our training videos to get the most of your Infinity experience, click this icon. We hope you find this web portal simple and easy to use. Thanks for letting us serve you.
I'm Dr. Cindy. Who wouldn't want to join me for the Positively Altered podcast? Welcome back. I'm glad you hung tight through the sponsor messages because they're super important. Today, I want to introduce you to Stephen Coghill, who has this huge laundry list of accolades. He is a musician. He is a music producer. He is a audiobook extraordinaire producer. I don't even know what that is, Stephen. You're going to clear that up for me, but he helps record audiobooks. I'm sure there's an official title there. He's done some really cool things in the music space. Not only does he have 2 solo albums coming out this year on his own, which I want him to talk about, but he's doing some work with Michael Dion, who is out of New York City. And I'm just going to throw some fancy names along with that. Ariana Grande, did I say that correctly? You know, I'm old, so I get some of these new musicians' names wrong. Nicki Minaj, Cardio B, right? Is anybody impressed yet? You should be. And I want to hear all about this journey. So, Stephen, I'm so excited. Welcome to the Positively Altered podcast.
Hey, thanks so much for having me. I appreciate it. It's been...
Oh my gosh, this is awesome. So one of my favorite things I hope you'll do is throughout the podcast, I would love for you to still be you, but be somebody different. Stephen's really good at voiceovers. You've probably even heard him on the Home Depot commercials, so something might sound a little familiar, but feel free, Stephen, as we talk. I'd love for you to go into character and, you know, let's see what we can recognize throughout this time together.
I don't know what you're talking about. Let's get this straight.
Of course not. Of course not. I wouldn't
Yes.
expect that you would.
Exactly.
Yes.
But we digress considerably.
We usually do, you and I.
This is true. This is true. No,
That's
I
why
had,
my
I had a,
audiobook took extra hours,
I had a
didn't it?
blast recording that book with you. It was so much fun.
Why? What made it fun?
I mean,
What
I don't know. You were just silly. You talk about your vagina. That's always fun and interesting. And wait a minute. Was that wrong? Am I not supposed to say
No,
that?
nothing
Hello, is
nothing
this
on this
thing on? I was told I was able to say that. I'm being told I was able to say those things.
You can say whatever you want. This is
Okay.
filter free.
All
So
right.
we are not
All
editing
right.
anything.
Well, I mean, if it's something that I'm not lying, right? Am I
You aren't.
lying? Okay. Well,
You
then
aren't.
there you go. Then.
Yes, it's one of my favorite words.
or poop, one or the other.
Poop. It is another favorite. Poop
Yeah.
is another
Mhm,
favorite.
mhm.
Did you poop today, Stephen?
Oh yes, several
Yes.
times.
Was it solid? Was it
Yes,
solid?
yes, it
Yes.
was. Yeah.
A lot of toilet paper, little toilet
No, a
paper.
little bit, just a little bit, not too
Perfect.
much.
It's one single ply is all you
Yeah,
need to confirm you didn't need it in the first
this is
place.
what I'm talking about.
That's it.
That's what you're
That's it.
talking about.
I understand. You know, here's what's interesting. How did we get on poop when
I
we
don't
started
know.
with like
See,
music and solo
don't
albums?
get me down the wrong path because I will digress considerably.
Oh, this is going to be a long podcast. You guys, you're going to have to get a cup of coffee or a drink
Right? Hold on,
during
folks.
this one because yeah, it's going to go on. So okay, let's talk serious just for like a minute or two because I'm sure we'll stop doing that.
Anytime now.
What's your favorite project you're working on right now?
Well, right now, my favorite project, other than working on my 2 solo albums, which are one's done and one is just about done, is working with like you introed with the artist Michael Dion out of New York City, and yeah, he's put together an amazing album with he's got Method Man on there, and like you said, or this I do a song with Ariana Grande where I play keyboards and guitar, and there's Cardi B and Nicki Minaj and Sexy Red and a whole bunch of other people on there. It's pretty amazing what he was able to put together. And the weird part is, like, I met him on Facebook, and he just happened to hit me up one night and was like, "Hey, I wrote this song, and what do you think?" And I was like, people hit me up all the time because I'm a producer and they see me posting things all the time. But I don't usually either listen to it, or if I listen to it, it's usually not good even enough to even respond. You know what I'm saying? Because I get hit up a lot. And everybody can write music, but not everybody does it well. But this guy was really amazing and a really incredible singer and producer and arranger. And I was like, this song is great. It just needs guitar. And he's like, really? And I'm like, yeah. So I like threw some guitar on. I didn't even tell him. I like send it to him. And he was like, this is amazing. I can't believe this. So he just kept sending me like little snippets to record on. Hey, I need something on this. And he'd send me a little snippet and I go, hey, okay, but hey, I need some acoustic guitar on this. Great. And he did that bunch of times. Again, he didn't let on at all who was on the record. He was just not. And I think it was just a test just to see if I was going to be on the level. Apparently.
Interesting. So like, you hear all these stories about famous people and how they're sometimes difficult to work with, right?
Yeah.
Or a pain in the ass or
Right.
right, all those things. This sounds like it was a great experience.
Yeah, it was. And I think just because he was not very trustful of people, and I get that. It was kind of a test to make sure that I passed all the tests. And apparently he did, because then when he sent me the album, I was like, not only was it amazing, but then all the people that were on it, and I was like, wait a minute, I play on a track with Ariana Grande? Like, for reals? For reals? Yeah.
That is really cool. So like, is it out? Can we listen to it?
There are a bunch of singles out. I don't think the album's not out yet, but there are a bunch of singles out, so people can go look for Michael Dion's music, and they shall
Okay.
find
And
it.
what's your favorite then? So give us one single we have to, Google and find on Spotify or somewhere to listen
Listen
to.
to the song called "Love Me"
Love
by
Me.
Michael Dion. His
Michael
vocals are
Dion.
it's perfection, really good.
Okay, but featuring Stephen Coghill.
No, there's nothing. That's what I mean. Right now, there's nothing featuring me out, except for the song we did that is not on the album. We did it with a duet with Aaliyah. I know she's been dead for 20 years, but apparently he used some sort of, he used some vocal samples or something and put together a duet with her. And that was the first song we recorded with. I put guitar on that, and that got released. So that's actually out. And you'll find that too when you search for him. He is
Oh my gosh.
he's already had like
Awesome.
1.2 million plays on Spotify already this year. So
Wow.
yeah, he has a lot of traction.
Yeah, that's really fun. So take a look for that. Now, I'm checking out that awesome studio and I love you post pictures all the time on Facebook and you've got the like here's what's pathetic. Like I'm the host of the podcast and you know what my studio is? I'm like, okay, here's the secret. Like I'm in my daughter's bedroom because when she went to college, I needed a space and I got a desk and there's crap behind me, and I'm promoting the book and like it's not a studio. It looks like there's lights, there's a mic. It looks like a
You
studio.
need me to come there
Totally
and
fake.
help you out, like set up a space for you.
No, I'm gonna come by you and set up my
Oh,
podcast in your studio.
that's
Look at that, it's beautiful,
that's even a
right?
better suggestion. I like that.
It's beautiful. So, and you've got these amazing instruments behind you. There's this fabulous neon green guitar and a purple one that I absolutely love. And like, where'd the love for guitars and putting them together and playing them come from?
That's a great question. I started because I was a late bloomer as far as like even guitar playing. I didn't start playing until I was in my 40s, which is really kind of strange. I was actually a composer since like the 80s, so I was a keyboard player and stuff, and I would write music for circuses and TV shows and commercials, everything. Um, but I've always wanted to play guitar. It was just like something I always wanted to do. But when I was a child, I cut my hand open on a construction site, and I cut like tendons and stuff. And I was trying to play guitar back then, but then my doctor was like, "Hey, we put your hand back together. We're not sure if you're able to even play anymore." And so I didn't. I didn't play for until I picked it up in my 40s, and they're like, "Hi, I wonder if I can play again." And
So, do you
yeah.
think so that message of I don't know if you're ever gonna play again, do you think that hurt you versus a doctor saying, "Pick up the guitar and try"?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think even my hand felt good enough to even try that, but I think I met somebody later on, that had a similar accident, and he played bass, and he said it actually helped him get stronger, and I was like, "Well, that's interesting. Let me try that." So, it's either my hand was gonna not work or it was gonna work, and so far, 12 years later, 13 years, something like that, yeah, so I play guitar and bass now.
Amazing. And do you prefer that over keyboard or you love them both?
Well, my new album, Electrocosmic, is kinda going back to the keyboard, so it's mostly keyboards and a little bit of, guitar, so like, "Willa, willa, willa." You gotta
Oh
have
my
those,
gosh.
"Willa, willa,
Do
willa." You
do
gotta
do
have
that
those.
again. So that was the air guitar,
Yeah, you
right?
gotta have the, "Willa, willa, willa." You gotta have those in the song, you gotta have keyboards, but then you gotta have the "willa, willa, willas" on the guitar. That's just
So I think I can do that with my hands, but I think if I make that noise, everybody's gonna turn us off.
Yeah,
I
just
don't
let
think I
me
can pull that
ruin
off.
your show, don't you ruin your show, let me
No,
do
I
it.
can ruin the
That's
show.
my
So
job.
so so can you pick up a guitar and play a couple things?
I can, sure.
Would you? I would love to
Sure,
hear.
hold on, let me grab something.
Yeah, give me a chord or
Give
2.
me a chord.
Oh my gosh, and on the purple guitar. So I love this guitar. It's
Well, I
beautiful.
mean, of course, I'm gonna pick up the purple guitar because that's the one you want. That's the one you
So tell
like.
me about this guitar. Does it have a name?
This is really funny because I don't name any of my guitars. I know that a lot of people do. I don't name my guitars. So this one, I'm sure you've heard of the shopping platform Temu. This is gonna
Yes.
get like really weird. Like, why is he talking about Temu? And he's got this guitar. So this guitar, the neck and the body came from Temu.
Okay.
Right? And that's what I was like, what? And I'm like, look at it. It's like a crazy like zebra wood.
Ooh, cool.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's
Yeah, you
beautiful.
see that, right?
I do.
So it's like crazy, but I didn't think that I was expecting like balsa wood or something, and from Timu, but it's actually like a real guitar.
So was it like $2.97? Because on my phone, everything comes up $2.97 from Temu.
Exactly. No, it wasn't that cheap, but it was pretty cheap. I'll be honest with you. I was like,
Okay.
"Oh." But yeah, I was pretty much amazed at what I was able to get from Timu
It's
and put this
beautiful.
together. Yeah, that's where
So
everybody
let's see,
talks.
does it put out a good sound?
Let's see. Something like that.
I love that. So that makes me wanna put on my concert T-shirt and get my big hair back, you know?
Exactly.
and go rock out a little bit, right?
Exactly.
Oh my gosh, I love that. What's your favorite kind of music to play?
Well, as a composer, see, that's the thing. Like, I play music to everything, so that when Michael Dion's music is like R&B and pop and rap kind of put together, and that's why I was like kind of amazed that I made it on a pop album. But I do produce other pop artists and write music for them and help them produce their songs the way they want them. And so that's another thing that I do.
So, do you have any good dirt, any good stories?
Any good dirt, any good stories? I met Prince once. I don't know if that's dirt, but I did meet
No, but that's a
Prince
great story.
because,
Just I mean, just
thinking of
that
like
like, you
purple
don't need
guitars,
Steven, you don't have to say anything else. Just the fact that you're like, "I met Prince once," like,
I
that's the
did, and
story.
it was kind of a weird story. Like I was at this bar, this club in DC, and everybody kind of went crazy, and I realized that Prince had walked in like with his entourage, and I was like, "Oh, that's interesting."
Could you
So
see him, or was he
no, I
okay,
could
bad
see him.
thing.
Yeah, I could see him. I could see him walking. It was a big place, but I could see him walking over, and he was like got up, like and sat down at a table. And my friend and I used to be a mime, so I would be a street performer, and so um, I studied with a guy that was deaf, and I learned sign language so I could, we could street perform, and I taught my friend sign language enough to that we could communicate with each other in the bar, so that we didn't have to scream over each other, over the music. So, we could talk about, hey, look at that girl over there. Uh, and I think Prince had somebody in the family who was hard of hearing, and he knew sign language. And I looked over, and he was signing to us, and I was like, "Are you kidding me? Like, Prince is over there signing to us?" And so we started talking to him in sign language from across the bar, and I was like, "This is really weird." But that's my
What
Prince
a cool
story.
thing.
I didn't really
That
like
you know
hang out
what?
with him and
What a cool thing.
but
A
yeah.
and what a huge loss. I mean, what I
Mm.
remember 1999, right? Loved the
Ah, it's
album, had the
terrible.
album, knew all the songs, Little Red I mean, listen, Corvettes are my favorite car, Little Red Corvette, right? Like, oh, what a huge loss to the music world when, when he departed.
Yeah,
But
way before his time.
absolutely.
Him and Michael
Yep.
Jackson, there's a lot of heartaches out there. David Bowie and George
Yeah.
Michael and all these guys that just should be still around.
I agree, but what they left, right? The impression that they're still leaving that our kids are listening to, and when I sing the words to the song and they go, "How do you know that?" I'm like, because you weren't born when that song first came out, and I know it better than you do, right?"
Yeah,
It's it's really interesting. So, okay, so Stephen, tell me, how do you
yeah.
go from a mime to doing voiceovers? Like, that doesn't sound like it
Well,
like the right transition.
when I was a child, I was really creative, and it's funny because I went to like a theater camp, and I studied mime, but I ended up studying with Marcel's apprentice. His name is Mark Jaster, and I studied with him for 7 years. And I learned how to juggle in theater camp, and I would actually perform at kids' birthday parties as a kid. So I was like performing at kids' birthday parties when I was a kid, with my friend, and we juggle and, entertain. So that's how I got into, acting and all that kind of stuff through theater camp,
What
and that
theater camp did you go
transcended.
to?
Hood College Theater Camp. It was done by Roundhouse Theater out of Washington D.C. And so,
Okay.
um, yeah, so that was really a lot of fun, and we got to learn, everything: stage combat, dance, and singing, and mime, and acting, and so they gave you a taste of just about everything, so you could figure out what you wanted to do.
Oh my gosh, so cool. So I went to theater camp 1 year,
Oh,
and at theater camp, because 'cause I'm an ex-dancer, I used to dance when I was younger, and at theater camp, I learned that I can't sing and I can't act. That's
that's
what I
really
learned.
hilarious. That's
Yeah,
really
it's true.
funny.
So I needless to say, didn't pursue that because it was gonna be a failure. And I struggle with those things. Like when we worked on my audiobook, right? Like how many times did you go cut, take 2, change your voice, change your inflection, do this, do that? And I was like, "I think you should just record the whole thing for me."
Well, I mean, that's just the cop out. Nobody wants to hear that. They want to hear Cindy.
Well, but can
Cindy.
you do your best Cindy? I mean, you do voiceovers. Couldn't you just do
I mean,
me
I
and then nobody
probably
would know?
could. I don't know if people would be able to sit through the entire thing of me trying to do your voice.
I
I'm
don't know.
not
I think we
sure.
should try it.
I'd
Do you
be
want to
like,
be the host for a minute and just be Dr. Cindy and let's see how
okay,
it
so
goes?
Stephen, I want to know about what you think about the music industry in general as it approaches 2025.
I think I better go back to theater school. If
See,
that's
this
what I
is the
really sound
problem.
like doing a
See,
podcast, we're in big
I
trouble
don't
here,
do
Stephen.
female voices very well. Oh God, I do other voices though, but I don't do that one. That's
Oh,
just,
I like
the
that
women
one.
one's not so good. But this one, I don't know. I feel like maybe I'm home, relaxing with my cat, enjoying a beverage.
Does the cat drink too?
Maybe.
I love it. This is the other reason it took us a while to record is I was laughing at you.
Yeah, right?
It's
Exactly.
true.
That's because all the pickups we had to do with later on.
I know. I was a tough client, wasn't I?
She was very particular about everything and wanted to make sure it was mwah, tout sweet once we got to the end.
We want
And
it
we did.
perfect, right?
I think it was
We want it
great.
perfect.
I think it turned out great. What do you think?
No, I
That's
love
the
it.
most important part. And
Yeah, I
what do
love it.
your audience think? That's even more important.
Well, we're gonna have to find out, right? So far, so good. We're
Is the
getting good
audiobook
reviews.
out for people? Is the
The
audiobook out?
audiobook is out. It's on Amazon, and sometimes you have to pay for it, and sometimes Amazon gives it to you for nothing, which doesn't help my cause at all. But
What?
I'm not in charge.
They make
Isn't that
enough money.
crazy?
Why are they giving away stuff for free?
Oh my gosh. So clearly, when you publish something through Amazon, when you put it out, they
Yeah.
get to determine the pricing. So even though, like, I say I want to charge, $2, $29.95, whatever it is, I pull it up and sometimes they're like, we're going to give it to you for $0 just because we love you. And I'm like, oh, okay. And I have no control.
And there's no opt in or opt out of that, I guess.
It's kind of like I hope your solo albums, right? Actual albums. So I grew up in the generation where we bought record albums, right?
Yes.
What's actually funny is on the floor behind me is I actually have a record player and I still have some of my albums. I have I still have my 1999 from Prince album. I still have those, right? But then we morphed to 8 tracks, right? 8 tracks, then cassettes.
Yep.
Some of our listeners are going, I have no idea what she's talking about.
Correct.
Right. And now you
they've
don't need
all dialed out, not listening at all anymore.
anything. But then you went to the record store and you found these albums like in the $1.99 bin. That's what Amazon's doing to me every once in a while. I'm in the $1.99 bin, Stephen.
You don't want to be in the discount bin. That's not a good place to be.
So on good days I'm not. So I guess it depends what kind of mood that they're in.
I heard about that. I've heard about problems like that. I've heard about that.
It happens.
Part of that.
All right. So, we always talk about challenges that we overcome typically on these podcasts. We want to spend a couple minutes and, let's get serious.
Yeah.
Just for a second or two.
Why not?
Because that's the theme. And then we'll go back to being
this
silly
is your
and
show,
fun.
so I'm just going to,
No,
you're
it's our
leading,
show
I'm
today,
following.
Stephen. It's our show. We're here together. Are we toasting? Okay,
I'm
to
just
you.
showing you my large cup of coffee.
Oh, is that coffee? I'm doing water. So just for the listeners out there that
if
think
that's
it might
what
be
you're
booze.
thinking.
It's not gin?
No, not yet.
No. And mine's not vodka. It's just water. So it's good. So a toast to you. I love the big mugs. Normally I have the big mugs, but the positively altered mugs were not.
Oh, you have
large.
to have that. We have to have that. I don't
Yeah,
have
it's good
that, but
branding.
if I had that, I would be showing that.
Well, actually, you will have that one day. Shh, don't tell anybody. It's like our guest gift.
Shh. I won't say anything, I promise.
Julie will send you, but they're not big mugs, so you're going to need 3 of them to drink that much coffee.
I'll line them
lay
all up.
Out, fill them with coffee, and get through the day. It's good. All right, so share with me. Ever have a challenge in your life you had to overcome?
I mean, yeah, for sure. I grew up with learning disabilities, and unfortunately, I had to go to a different school than like all the rest of my friends went to. So like all my friends from my neighborhood went to one school, and they're like, "No, you got to go to this other school." And so it was, pretty far away. So I went to school without anybody that I knew, and I'd come home, and everyone would talk about it going to school, but I was like, I wasn't at the school, so I don't know what you guys are talking about. So yeah, I felt out of it for a while because I was going to a different school and didn't really know anybody. So that was a challenge for sure growing up.
Yeah. How'd you overcome it? Like what kind of tools did you use to make that a little bit easier for you?
I mean, I think, because I've always been a creative kid that, I always went back to just being creative, whatever it might have been, whether it was, playing music or acting or doing mime or juggling or street performing or whatever was happening at the time. I think I would have been worse off if I didn't grow up next to, a friend of mine who was very creative as well. And I think as an autistic kid, I probably wouldn't have come out the same way or been probably brought out of my shell as much as, because of that.
So, in a weird way, do you think any of that led to the added creativity that got you to do all the successful things you do today?
Yeah, absolutely. I think all the stuff that we did, I mean, we were completely goofy. My friend's dad owned a electronic store. So like he had every electronic gadget growing up. He had all the latest video games and pinball machines and all this crazy stuff. So growing up next door to him was fun. And the fact that he was creative, and he had the first video cameras, so we would record these ridiculous videos that we still have, and someone could still blackmail me for lots of money from what we did. But it was cool because it was like practice for what we would do later on. So my friend, he went on and as a director and a writer, and I'm doing my own thing. So it was just like I said, it was just like practice for being an adult.
I love it. And now you could pull out those videos and become TikTok famous with them, probably.
That's exactly right, and they're all like like we did newscasts and commercials and all kinds of crazy stuff. So
Right? So everybody that's doing TikTok, it was no different. We just had a different way to get it done,
yeah,
right? We
well,
had the
we
big
did it. We
clunky
just had no
video
way.
cameras.
We had no way of sharing it, so it's all like we just sit around the TV and everybody would play it and laugh. But there's no, it's not like today where you can throw it up and everybody all over the world can laugh at you.
Right. It's true. It's true.
That's right.
Very true.
Mm-hmm.
So where's the next fun direction you want to go? So the solo albums, the work with Michael Dion, but like what's next?
Well, Michael Dion, I'm assuming he wants to go on tour because he talked about that. He talked about getting on the Nicki Minaj tour and me going and being his guitar player. So there's that could definitely happen. I'm working with a couple new artists that have approached me, and so I'm working with them to try to develop their music, and obviously I'm going to continue putting out my music, and that's going to be fun.
Oh my gosh, I love it. So I'm going to pull out my hot pink bra and my hot pants,
mm-hmm.
and I'm
and
going to
join me on
come when you
stage.
play, right?
That's right. Join me on
New
stage.
York City.
You can
when you
twerk
do New
on
York
stage
City.
with me.
Oh my gosh, I'm going to be like the groupie. I'm going to be like the Dr. Cindy groupie in the audience. Totally. And I'll be like, I know Stephen.
I know
And I'll take
Stephen.
off my hot pink bra and I'll throw it up and you can swing it around and go,
Exactly.
oh my gosh, I recorded her
Exactly.
audiobook.
That's
We
right.
talked about vaginas.
That's right. You can bump butts with Ariana Grande or
Oh, I would totally do that.
Cardi
Listen, I'm a
B.
dancer. I could be the backup, the forefront, as long as I don't have to sing. We clear out the whole, you know what? Actually, here's where this is brilliant. When it's time, the whole like you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here.
I like
You
that.
put me
John
on
Wayne.
then and say, we're going to close with Dr. Cindy singing, and I will have that auditorium cleared out in about 42 seconds.
It's a fire alarm. Everybody run.
Totally.
It's a fire.
Totally. So again, we can use all of, my negative attributes as a positive. We just have to spin them. That's
I love
all.
that. I love that.
Right?
Yeah,
There's
that
a
works
gift
for
in
me.
everything, Stephen.
It's the gift that keeps on giving.
It's so true. So let me ask you a question. How do we find you? How do we follow you? Everybody that's listening, that's intrigued by your voices and your fancy guitar and all the cool things you're doing, how do we find out what's next?
You can find me, the easiest place to find me is stephencoghill.com. That's Stephen with a PH, COGHILL.com. And you can find my voiceover work, which I know we didn't even talk about really too much, but StephenCoghillVO.com. And
let's talk about that.
Oh.
So no, let's talk about that. I went, so again, like I love the voices. So what was your favorite gig with a voiceover? What was the most fun?
I mean, I guess the most fun. I don't know. I always have fun. I guess I said the most rewarding is probably, the Home Depot. I'm on their website, on a few of their videos. So that's always fun.
All right. So do the gig, do the Home Depot spiel. Can you do it?
Well, what do you mean?
I don't know. Like, so we'd recognize you. Give us
it's
Home
this
Depot
voice.
lines.
It's just, I don't know that, I was talking about Home Depot, like painters and rollers. So you'll find me in the painters and rollers section. I'm the voice for Pave Mobility. There's like a really cool parking technology that they use, which is like they don't even use people. It's all done with AI. That's pretty cool. Walmart and IBM and Martha DeValle, Rainbird. I've done a
Do
bunch of
you get to
stuff.
pick the voice, or do they tell you what voice they want?
No, they usually tell you what type of voice they want, and then whether they want like an announcer voice, or whether they want just someone that's speaking conversationally, like I am doing right now. Um, because they might want that voice that everybody's, hey, 24 for the hour, we're going to go to the builders in the nephew. Hey, today we're looking at the traffic downstairs and it's looking pretty bad. Something like that.
I love it. I love it. All right, here's what we're going to do, Stephen. We
I
got to take
digress considerably.
Yeah, but that's what I love about you. The more we digress, the more fun I have. So I love this. We're going to take a quick break because my sponsors, which are not Home Depot. So by the way, if you can get me Home Depot, I'm totally in.
Right?
But in
Give
the
them a call.
meantime, they're actually amazing organizations that love me, support what I do, and I'm so grateful. Let's take a quick break. We're going to hear a couple words. Go fill up that coffee cup, Stephen, because we're going to have some rapid fire questions I'm going to throw at you and see how you answer them when we come back. Stay tuned, everybody. This is your weekly dose of Dr. Cindy, the Positively Altered podcast. Stop. Hit that follow button now and spread the love with Positively Altered. And we're back. Stephen got his coffee fill during this quick little break, so he is ready to go.
Ready to go.
Here's the fun part for me, Stephen. I'm going to ask you some rapid fire questions. They never seem to go rapid fire, but that's okay. If you need a longer answer, I'm willing to listen. But I'm just curious what you're going to say when I ask you the questions. You ready?
I'm ready I can't wait to see what I say.
Me neither. All right. If you could change snow to be any color but the color it is, what color would you pick?
Purple.
Oh my gosh. That's my color, Stephen. I knew this was going to be the perfect podcast.
That's right, because
That's awesome.
only the rich people back in the day had purple clothing.
It is a royalty color, isn't it?
Exactly.
So King Stephen and Queen Cindy here today, bringing you the Positively Altered podcast. It's all good. All right. If you could pick a drink that is either sweet, sour, or strong, what do you pick?
Are you asking me which one to pick or which beverage?
No.
See, now I don't understand the
you
question. Oh, God.
Okay. So, okay, folks, this is where the learning disabilities come in.
Please explain it in a way that I can understand it, please.
Okay, let me rephrase.
Okay.
So if there was a quality to the drink that you would prefer, being either sweet, sour, or strong, what would you pick? And then please feel free to elaborate and give me an example of that drink that you would enjoy.
Oh, well, I mean, I love like strong coffee. So I'm like a red eye cappuccino. Mwah.
What's a red eye cappuccino? What does that mean?
That's a cappuccino with 2 shots of espresso in it.
Wow, that sounds scary.
Oh, it's delicious.
And then how long are you flying after you have one of those?
Nah, see, I'm a professional. I've been, doing it for so long now. I can probably have one and go to bed.
Perfect. All right. So there's always this burning question that people ask that I don't really care about. And that is, if there was a famous person alive or dead that you could have lunch with, who would you pick? I actually could care less about famous people in that regard. I'm more curious what meal you would eat at that lunch.
So you need to know the person first or just the meal?
Actually, if you don't want to have lunch with anybody, just what meal? Okay, so
No.
your favorite meal at the most important luncheon of your life, what would you like to eat at that luncheon?
All right, that's a great question. Probably veal parmesan because I never get that.
Okay.
I never get
Julie,
veal
make note of
parmesan.
that. I'm gonna have my producer make note of that. I don't know if we can send you a veal parmesan
Yeah, I don't know
that
if you
would
know if
taste
that's
good, but
like
if we
politically correct at this point, but
what? Oh, really?
well, I mean, veal is kind of like, a young lamb that's never had like a life experience.
Do they have like a plant-based version of veal parmesan?
They probably do, but I wouldn't want it.
Yeah, I mean, they do with most meats now,
Yeah,
right? So, okay, so Julie, a plant-based version of veal parmesan that tastes like veal parmesan so that we don't upset the people that are mad that we're eating veal.
right. We don't want PETA like,
We
breathing
do
down
not.
our necks.
Although they're not a sponsor, so maybe we don't care. I don't know. Oh, that was probably not politically correct either. We do care. We do care. So no
Oh, we
judgment
care.
whether
We
you eat
care.
veal or you don't eat veal. Listen,
Absolutely.
it's your meal. You are completely entitled to whatever food of
Right.
choice you want.
Yeah.
All right. If you could be an Olympic athlete and excel and get a gold medal in that sport, what sport would you pick?
Ball handler.
Oh, Stephen, that is a rabbit hole that I could go
Listen,
down so far.
I don't
Ball,
watch the Olympics, so I don't know.
ball
Shot.
handler.
All
Okay,
right,
well,
let's
I'm gonna
let's go with
shot put
shot
because I was
put.
gonna play along and say
Yes.
what kind of ball, like an oblong ball, a
Yeah, see,
small ball,
don't even get me
a
going.
heavy
Don't even
ball,
see.
a blue
You
ball.
wanted this to be a family show.
No, I really didn't.
Then I'll go with ball handler.
Ball handler. Okay, I don't know if that's an Olympic
Professional
sport, but
ball handler.
we are gonna petition to make that an Olympic sport in 2028, and it's in LA. So what a more perfect place to have a ball handler than LA.
I'm with
I
you.
think it's perfect.
I'm with you. There's probably
All right,
already a thing. We'll have to look that up.
two more. I know you okay, forget the dog and forget the cat because we've already talked about cats and dogs, so it's not a choice. But if you could be any other type of animal as a family pet, what animal would you pick? I stay up late at night coming up with these questions,
Right?
Stephen.
I'm like,
They're
this is
they're
this is out of the left field here. I'm gonna go with snake.
Ooh,
Now, why do you
see,
ask that? Why did I say that? Because my brother, when I grew up, he grew up with like snakes and like always like hanging around his neck and like lizards and stuff. And yeah, so I got
this
kind of
is
used
where
to those.
you and I are gonna have trouble now.
Yeah,
Because every time I see a snake, you know what my response is?
kill it
They
with
make great
fire.
boots. They make great boots.
Oh, see, they can't help that they're snakes.
I know, but they do make great boots. I
Well,
mean, a beautiful snake skin. I don't
I don't
know.
know. I can't
All
join you
right.
there. I
Well,
can't
I hope
join you
if you
there.
ever become a snake that we, are just acquaintances and no longer friends, because
Okay.
that's going to be dangerous.
Well, if I
Because I
shed
will
my
think of you as
skin,
a pair
I'll
of
send
cowboy
it to
boots.
you, and then you can do whatever you want with it.
I love it. All right. See, that's true friendship right there.
I'm here for
It's true
you.
friendship.
Here
I
for
know.
you, baby.
I love. You know what? Before you leave, you're going to have to write me a song. Can you write me a song real quick?
No, what's wrong
Oh,
with you? Of course I can't. It's gonna take some time, Cindy. All right.
all right. Well,
I'm
maybe
like
you know
not
what? Maybe
that great. I'm like not a rapper. I can't like come up with like lickety splits on the flip. See, I
okay.
don't even know what I'm talking about. So just
Lickety splits on the flip. I don't know what that means either.
right.
So here's what we'll do. I'm going to
Michael
plant the seed.
Dion's gonna hit me in the head.
I'm good. I am gonna have you back one day, and I expect like not a whole, 5-minute rendition, but
Yeah.
maybe like a quick 15 seconds of like the Dr. Cindy Positively Altered song. What do you think?
Hey, I could totally write that for you.
Okay,
I'm
I'm super
totally
excited.
Dr.
Now, last
Cindy. Yeah, we'll do something. Yeah, it'll be fun.
okay, I can't
It
wait.
won't
All
be
right.
like
So
that, but it'll be
Julie,
better than that.
we got to book Stephen again because I can't wait to hear the song. I'm so totally excited. All right, last but not least,
Yes.
these rapid fire questions are like in slow motion. I
Man,
apologize. They were
this is
supposed to take like 6
crazy.
seconds. Okay, last question. What was your favorite thing about doing the podcast today?
Seeing your beautiful face again. Come on, Cindy. I
Oh,
mean,
Steven.
we worked together, but we didn't actually see each other. We saw each other for like the first initial contact, and then all we did was hear each other, right? So I get to see your face today. It's
Oh,
beautiful.
I just love that.
Yeah.
I love that. So
That's all I
here's
got.
my
That's all I
favorite thing.
got.
No, actually, I thought that was fabulous. And we didn't even pay him to say that, so it was even more
Perfect. I
fabulous.
love that. Checks in
So
the mail. I love it.
my favorite thing about the podcast today was actually learning more about you. You know, I love when I know people and I am like expecting to hear certain stories or certain things because of my experience with you, and then I get so much more deeper, richer information, and I think that's really cool because there's a depth to you that I keep learning about, and I'm so excited, and that was really fun for me. So thank you for what you've shared
Well,
today.
thank you. Thank you for having me on. I appreciate this. It's been
Oh my God, I so
fun.
appreciate it.
It's
So
been a
here's
lot of
the deal,
fun.
Stephen.
Yeah. What's up?
Normally, on the out, right? Like I say, thank you so much for joining us today on the Positively Altered podcast. You can find me at drcindyspeaks.com. Buy the book, Positively Altered, where you can buy books. But here's the thing, I don't want to do that, even though I just did it. Can you take us out in a fun voice? I want you to end the podcast today.
Right. Well, I can end the podcast. Thanks for coming today to Cindy's podcast. It's been so fantastic talking to Stephen. And oh, God, Positively Altered is fantastic. Everybody go out and buy it. Oh, it's great. Everybody's going to love it.
And
Did
we're
that help?
out.
Was that it? Was that?
It was listen, it was your show, Stephen. You can do it. You can do whatever you want.
I just went crazy there for a minute. I don't know
No, I
what
love it.
happened.
We do crazy here. We do crazy. We do no filter. We do ball handling here.
Ball
It's
handler. No,
it's
I
all
actually said that
good.
on another interview, so I thought I would just like continue that, and it went off.
I think it's a
It
good
went off.
theme.
It went off. Like a fart in church over there too. So it's fine.
Oh my gosh. All right, you guys, we're going to let everybody listening go. Steven's going to be back because he was just way too much fun to have. But I'll tell you what, before we end this, Steven, why don't we just go ahead, hit that purple guitar, and I'm going to just be quiet and take us out with some fun music.